any steam? Okay. 3, 2, 1, mic cue. Happy Friday, everybody. Welcome to the Chat Box Vail. We are Vail's only podcast that focuses on mental health here in the Valley, and we are really happy to be here today live from the studio here in TV8 land. Super happy. We have a wonderful guest here, Rocky Sanchez, and you guys know the second greatest host. That was pretty funny. My partner in crime, Jen Sido. I'm so happy you're always here with me because this is the greatest thing. We have opened people's minds. I hear from people now saying, you know, I watched your podcast and it really does bring home to a lot of people. So I thought it was really interesting. And this month, the month of June, which is already towards the end, is National Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Men have feelings too.
That's right.
You know, they're just not as open about them because women, we just like never shut up. I think this is a very important I think this is a very important subject, really.
Yeah.
I mean,
Agreed.
it is true that a lot of men don't open up to their issues and stuff like that, or they will just go right off and self-medicate and pretend like everything's all right.
Yeah.
We asked Rocky on. Rocky, I saw a post that you had put on Facebook a few weeks ago, and it really hit my heart. It was like, wow, you know, not only obviously men go through things too. I mean, why not? Men have loss, men have issues, men have depression, men have sadness, we're all human beings. It's all a brain and it's all emotions. So I understand now bigger more than anything after reading what you had written, and I just found it really special. You had been through a lot lately,
Yeah.
and because of mental health for Men's Awareness Month, you put a post out there. Would you mind sharing like the gist of it?
Yeah. Well, just mention the things and steps that helped me.
Yeah.
Sobriety has been one of the biggest things that helped me out. Therapy was another one because
Okay.
I definitely had to do my own work to get better. You know, things that are like changing daily routines up. Just making sure that I'm, looking out for myself and taking care of myself. Things that have helped a lot. Self-medication was always something that was available, but that I didn't want to do. I always wanted to do it, per my own will,
Right.
So that was the hardest part, like it's always been there, and I did medicate for maybe 2 months out of the times I was going through, but a lot more, more willpower than anything was at the forefront of my just getting better.
Right, your wellness journey
Yeah,
is
my
a good
wellness
way to
journey.
call
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. What hit you when you decided one day you were like, you know what? I got to break free of this. I got to get out of this place I'm in.
Yeah.
I'm ready for a change. Did something strike you? Did something happen, or did you just get tired?
Well, I mean, to get where I'm at now, I guess I had to have a breaking point of what made me ill,
Yeah.
what made me sick. And going back to January of 22, I lost a good friend of mine. His name was Joshua House, and that hit me hard, but I didn't break then. Being a strong, mentally guy and outgoing personality, I had good standards of like who my personality was and who my character was. I've never been tested in that sense. I have lost people in the past, and he was one of those people that were really close to me. So, fast forward a little bit of time, come May 29th, I lost my father the same year.
Gosh, I'm sorry.
2 weeks prior to that is when I think I had my first mental breakdown, or what they call it, an anxiety attack, or I feel like it was, I don't know, it felt like it was just for me, it was something that I didn't know what was going on with my body, because my body kind of, it broke down. I almost had like these like, almost like a rolling blackout, where I didn't completely black out while I was driving. I just had this rolling blackout, and I got like super tense behind the knees. I felt like my body was locking up, almost like somebody was closing the blinds on me, and then that began my journey to my health, because at first I was like, well, what's wrong with me, what's going on physically. And after losing my father, these occurrences of my anxiety would kick in, and they'd cause my body to just do these
like
things
a nervous breakdown.
but my body was reacting differently, it would be these like kind of like blackouts in and out, fading in and out, body weakness. You know, I get these like nerve tensions behind my knees, my feet, my fingertips, a lot of like nerve ending,
Wow.
like just like
prickles.
feelings, like prickles. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was really like, it was more physical than it was mental at that point.
But even though the mental causes the physical.
Even so
Yeah.
you know, I'd go, and that started my journey into seeking help. Okay, what's wrong with me physically? Then I started going to the doctor. I was at the doctor maybe every other month. Like, something's wrong with me physically. I can feel it in my body. I want you guys to figure it out. You know, they send me home. Nothing's wrong with you. They do. You know, I probably took like 5. What do they call the EKG test? Where it's hooked up.
The heart. And
Yeah,
stuff.
the heart test and all this stuff, and everything would be fine. All the tests would come out positive, and they, you know, maybe it could be linked to anxiety and stress. And I'm like, okay, well, for me, it's hard to believe that I'd have such a physical breakdown of what's going on with my body
You'd be amazed.
that my mind wouldn't understand. You know, I couldn't.
You couldn't wrap your brain
put
around
it
what was
around because it was
happening.
physical. I felt it in my body, and I never
Right.
felt such out of place physically. I was getting these super weird compressions in my chest. So I was like, okay, my heart's
That's
giving up on
anxiety.
me, and it was weird because I was like, okay, my dad just passed away from cancer, and from like chest cancer. He had like cancer in his lungs and stuff like that. And for me, it was like almost like I felt that energy
Right.
in me. I was like
Empathic.
empath, and I was like, well, I'm going through the same thing. I'm experiencing what he experienced, or go to the doctor. Do I have cancer? And they check me for everything because I just lost my dad, and over like 3 months, 4 months time, this compression went from happening once every month, a day, to like twice a week, to
Wow.
3 times a week, to 4 times a
Oh
week,
my gosh.
to where it became so consistent that I had it for 3 months straight. So
Aw.
from like around August to October, November of 2022, I could not get rid of this sensation. This sensation would come to me. I'd cramp up in my chest. The only thing that was comfortable was sleep.
Okay.
I'd go to sleep and I'd be able to sleep fine. And I'd wake up every morning. I'd be fine for the first hour. But as soon as my brain starts going and I'm getting active, this compression would start. And then it'd be the cat and mouse game again. It would be full circle. So it'd be basically my mind and my body had this synchronization in itself that it wouldn't allow me to just be normal.
Okay.
So it was kind of like a cat and mouse game, and it became super challenging because I was never used to being physically challenged in that sense.
Sure.
And it
Were you
became mental
scared?
because I was scared because I thought it was an issue physically,
Right.
Yeah.
and I thought I was dying. So that's one of the things that's where I think the mental health game came into play. So, well, how strong is your will to continue and wanting to get away from the cycle that you're going through, that you've already been to the doctor several times and you have not progressed any? What challenges are you willing to do to yourself to make you progress and feel better?
Okay.
I felt like, I always reference back to Humpty Dumpty. Humpty Dumpty was shattered and it was broken and to pieces, and then but they put them back together. These cracks still existed, and for me, it was like, okay, things have happened in my life that I have to explore. I have to touch. I have to find out why I'm experiencing this and what is it that are causing these issues not to heal or self-heal or to get better. Why am I physically feeling this break inside of me, this fragility, that I've never felt before. Being, somebody that's super social and always had, outgoing personality, I felt like I never, I didn't want to talk to nobody anymore. My home was my comfort zone, even though I was feeling like crap. I felt sleep was always the answer, and I
Do
felt
you
like
think that depression was bringing sleep on? Do you think you were getting depressed from everything
Well,
happening?
honestly, I think I was depressed because I knew the losses that I
Right.
had experienced. I knew I was depressed. I knew I had anxiety. I wasn't willing to accept I had mental health issues.
Okay.
And I think that was me putting up a wall saying no, because my mind has always been strong up
Right.
until now. Why is it that now I'm
The
mentally
strongest
broken?
people have,
Yeah.
just so you know, you can be the strongest person in the world, and we are all wired differently. And I mean, just because there's a mental health issue doesn't make you a weaker person.
Yeah, no,
ever.
yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. It's been really hard to accept it. It was me accepting the reality of, you know what, you do have a mental issue. You do have a mental issue. So what are you going to do to accept it? I was put on prescriptions maybe twice throughout the last 2 years since January of 22 for 1 month, and I'd take it just when I felt at my worst. I wouldn't take them to when I felt okay
Was
today
it?
every day. I don't recall. I don't. Yeah, I
If it
wouldn't
was an
recall.
antidepressant, you can't just take
They
them
were,
when you
they
feel
were,
it.
they were, yeah. They were for anxiety, so they were for anxiety and antidepressants. So I did just take them, when I felt like, okay, today's the day I need one. I'm feeling way above my, my body can only handle so much. I need something to relax, and I'd take one, and I'd feel better for a day, and I'd probably, whatever, take a week's worth or whatever, and then I'd put it aside because I didn't want to become addicted to them.
Right.
Because I feel like my personality has always been an addicted personality. I used to love to drink, I used to love to party, all this stuff, but I really had that issue with prescriptions because, a lot of my family members have OD'd, or I've lost family members to gang violence and overdosing, and for me, prescriptions have always been a touchy area.
Sure.
Same.
But
Really?
Yeah.
but drugs for me, are touchy, but at the same time, it's party acceptable.
It's a
in sense.
recreational
Yeah,
experience
exactly.
as opposed to a
Yeah, exactly.
pharmaceutical
Yes,
experience.
exactly. So it's just one of those things where I kind of just set to aside, like you have to really put more effort towards your healing. And one was sobriety, because I started to drink just to relax.
Okay.
Because when I drink, I notice, okay, I'd relax a little bit, my body is calm. I could relax like when I drink, but the next day I'd feel the depression and my mental health would spike to the point where, okay, maybe I'm better off not being here. And I noticed that to have those thoughts were really poisoning my mind, my progression. So I really wanted to put it away. So I really try to stop drinking for, since about 2022. I've also my drinking had declined a lot. So, but I did drink, several times. Let's say 20 times, 2022, maybe about a handful, like 20 times in the last 4 years, 2 years or so. So I really did, reduce the amount of drinking that I was doing, because I would notice that either I would black out or I'd be super depressed and hungover for 2-3 days.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't.
Well, alcohol's a depressant anyway, so whenever we think that we're helping ourselves with alcohol, really we're not. We're making matters worse.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for me, it wasn't just making it worse. It'd be the mental challenge of, am I even worth, is it worth living? Is it worth waking up every day still? But I knew it was just the alcohol and the depression sinking in when I felt the lowest, because after drinking and partying, your endorphins drop so much that your body's trying to work overtime to produce these, and it just doesn't happen. Because as we get older, our body just doesn't produce natural endorphins as it should.
Right.
And a lot of it was due to my passive partying and my substance abuse plus alcoholism.
Right.
And I really noticed that the shift came when I really just, okay, time to just stop drinking completely. So my sobriety, it had taken the better turn. I started to go to therapy, obviously, for the help. I started to do more mental practices, the things that really helped me get better.
Like what?
We talked about, and we just talked about the things that got me to the place where I am, and now we discussed the things that really have helped me achieve this new mental, place that I'm in. One of them being sobriety. That really helped a lot, because I was able to produce natural endorphins again and to be happy on my own. Like, like these things actually, my family, have been really helpful. My granddaughter, she's been awesome. My kids,
You're a grandpa?
I'm a grandfather, believe it
Look
or
at
not.
him,
Yeah, I love her.
should be a grandma.
Yeah, she was really the spark that I really needed to
so
fight this fight.
special.
And I think for me, she was the one that really gave me the tools, the desire to want to continue. She made me fight. She really put the spark in me.
Kids will do it to you.
Yeah, and it was. I think she came at the perfect time. She's a COVID baby, and I know those 2 years of being secluded onto my 2 years of depression and anxiety and mental health. I've had 4 tough years.
Yeah.
And this is the first year, and actually the last 3 weeks I felt the best I felt in a long time, because I feel I'm naturally happy again. I'm productive. I'm doing things that I want to do that are making me happy and making me proud, which I couldn't say a year ago, 2 years ago. I knew I was working on myself, but I didn't feel I'm there yet. I still get these anxiety attacks, and it's hard to decide, to decide the difference between what makes you, what's excitement and what's anxiety. Sometimes your brain doesn't know the difference on how your body reacts to excitement. So I really had to decipher the difference. I'm just excited, and I have to remind myself, I'm excited. I'm not anxious, I'm excited.
Right.
So there's a really thin line,
there
but
is
the
a
body
difference,
doesn't
though.
know. The body doesn't know. The mind is already subconsciously in this routine where you're anxious, your body's tense, and now you got this heart rate up, and your body's tensing up. But you know what? I had to learn to let go. A lot of the practices that I was doing to get me back on track was one that was really helpful was self affirmations before I went to bed.
Oh, really?
So
Tell me more.
especially the ones especially right before bed, because your subconscious is what was my subconscious is what was taking over my body when I'd feel this anxiousness.
Okay.
My mind had no control over it no more. My body was in this this automatic cycle where subconsciously I'd wake up, I'd tense up, my nerves would get shot, and I'm back to in the same old cycle routine. Going to bed, before I go to bed, I just tell myself, you are going to be okay, you are happy, you have a good wife, you have a good life, you have children that love you, you have people that love you. And one of the things that really helped also was saying their names in my head before I go to bed.
Wow.
So I just repeat every family member that I have would be, my spouse, my kids, my wife, my mom, my daughter, my sisters, my kids, So a lot of that routine was, hey, these people love you, don't forget that these people do care about you. And every night for like,
I know, it's like I have those, what do you call those, divine tingles?
It was, so the positive affirmations before I go to bed, I think really helped my subconscious go to bed on a positive note, where it took a while to break out of the same old routine. Oh, I'm dying, waking up, oh, I think I'm dying. I'd wake up and I'd be like, okay, my body feels the same, but I know in my head, my subconscious is rewiring itself. You're doing the work that you need to do. So by reminding myself these positive affirmations, obviously not just the same routine of just the people that love you. It'd be, you are gonna be okay. You are worth it. You're gonna be happy again. You're gonna, everything's gonna be okay. Things happen for a reason. You're experiencing this to grow. A lot of these things this is just the new you, and you just have to be comfortable with it. And that's the main thing. I just had to grow into this person. Like, I had to get used to the new personality that I was going to become with this handicap or with this, mental health issue. Just being aware that it's there.
God, you're so, I don't know if you realize how wise, not only that you sound, but that you have become because you've experienced this.
Yeah.
This is huge. I mean, I've had what you were describing before is called waking anxiety, when you wake up and all of a sudden you're like freaked out by the day. You think you're going to just be a mess. And I went through that as well. And I love what you say about giving yourself a little affirmation. But you know what else that you're proving to show, not just Jen and myself, but anybody who's watching right now? You are the epitome of somebody who has discovered self-love.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You realize that, right?
Yeah.
You were doing all this work. You wouldn't be doing it if you didn't give a hoot about yourself.
No, for sure. Yeah.
So this is self-love, and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It really is. It's so remarkable. I'm so proud.
It takes a lot of work, and
it does.
And I think of one of my biggest messages would be, if you're a guy and you're going through something, it's okay.
Yeah.
That you're going through stuff.
Absolutely.
You have to really pat yourself on the back.
Yeah. Don't you think that machoism is kind of like a little?
Yeah. No.
You don't have to be Mr. Machismo
sure.
anymore. You can definitely be. You can still be a man's man and still know that you have feelings, right?
Well, and as you discovered, trauma gets stored in the body. So
Yes.
if you're not dealing with your emotions and the trauma that's happening to you, it's going to manifest
The
in
body
your body
keeps the
somewhere
score
else.
is
It
what my
absolutely
therapist
does.
used
Oh my God, I have that book.
Yeah, that's what she's
Oh my
like,
God,
"You
I
read this."
stopped the tingles. I have the book, and my husband knows I've been through it, and my husband read the first, I don't know, like few pages. He goes, I hate reading. I'm just like, I'll fall asleep, or I have attention deficit, whatever. I just trail off. I can't read. He goes, just read the first few pages. It's all you. And when I read that, I was like, wow, it's a great.
I think it comes down to self-reflection.
Yeah.
You have to at some point in your life address your past trauma.
Absolutely.
And
If you don't do the work, you can't fix yourself.
Exactly. And a lot of it, the therapy was for the trauma, for the old trauma. I did therapy for a year, and I think I had 12 sessions, and I think it was the perfect amount. Because when I stopped going, I felt like I didn't need it anymore.
Hey, that's big.
You know, so I felt like, okay, you know what? I did the work with the trauma. I did the work one-on-one. Now it's time for self-reflection, you know? You've made mistakes in your past, but you know what? It doesn't define your character as who you are now. So you're growing, and it's okay that you made these mistakes, because without those mistakes, you wouldn't be sitting where I'm sitting now.
That's
you know?
right.
So a lot of those things, do I regret stuff? Yeah, I do. I mean, would I take it back? I'd love to, but you know what? I know I can't. You know, the best thing I do is pray, ask for forgiveness, you know, and be a better person today, and hope for, you know, being better tomorrow than I am today. Just continue this path. A lot of this knowledge doesn't just come easily. Like, it took 2 years to grasp it, to understand it, to reflect on it,
and then to get the nerve to do the work.
to express it.
Yeah.
To express it, because that's the hardest part. I think
It is.
not just for
Especially
men,
but
not
it
just for
kind
men.
of is
But
a
it kind
little
of is,
bit more.
but as an individual, I'm gonna say everybody has to do their individual
That's
work.
right.
As an individual, because you know, men, women, we all go through this stuff. We all have different traumas. We all have different experiences. But for me, I had to put the work in myself.
Yeah.
Nobody took me to therapy. I took myself to therapy.
It's the only person that can.
Nobody could give me my self-affirmation. Only I could give it to
That's
myself,
right.
because only I would feel like the time would be worth it, you know. And I get it. Yeah, it's men's mental, you know, health month, but for men, we have to put the work in. You have to take the first steps, and for me, thankfully, I have a good partner that has been there and put up with me and watched me go through my lowest points. That I hope she's there at my highest points, because it really was hard for her to just watch me, you know, go through what I'm going through, because I'm intolerable. I'm not the nicest person. And then if I was intolerable before this episode, during the episodes, I was the worst person I could ever be, because I was selfish.
Okay.
A lot of it was I was recluse. I put myself before anybody, and I knew I had to, because it's one of those sacrifices that I had to make, because if I didn't become recluse personality, not just, you know, from socializing, but from at home, I had to close the door. I had to lock myself in the room. I had to take the time out to just be with my own thoughts and become, you know, who I had to become, to do my own work by myself, even though it was painful, because it was physical, and it was a physical attachment to this mental, you know, episode I was going through, that it was really, really hard for me to be a husband and be a father. And I had to like really put my guard up, because not only was I not social in the real world, I was non-social at home, you know.
So what's it like now at home?
It's a lot better.
Yay.
I mean, believe it or not, I mean,
Your wife sounds amazing.
she's awesome. She's awesome. I mean, she puts up with me, so that makes her really
But I mean, when you say you hope she's there for the highs, obviously she will
No,
be. She
yeah.
wouldn't stick around for the lows if she
I
wasn't
agree.
waiting for the highs.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And I'm thankful for that. And I thank God. I thank
You're
her.
lucky.
We put the work in. You know, like I said, when I was at my lows, I really did things that, you know, that were out of my character, and like just, you know, just things that just, you know, I'm not happy about. But you know, when it came time to put in the work, you know, we did our thing. You know, I did my thing. We did our thing, and now I'm doing my thing for my family. You know, a lot of work has gone into this. Like, you know, my sobering up, and you know, putting the work in to just become a better person mentally and physically. You know, a lot of positivity is coming out, because a lot of my visions have been manifesting a lot easier. You know, there's a lot of positivity that comes out of putting the right foot forward. You know, my business is thriving. Yeah, my business is thriving. You know, I'm wiring homes left and right. You know, I got like 8 homes that I've been wiring since the beginning of last year, and I just want to keep
When
that
you
streak
say
going.
you wire homes,
I'm
what
an
is-
electrical contractor. So, yeah.
spit it out. Let
Yeah.
people know
Boardwalk
what you do.
Electric. Yeah.
Boardwalk Electric, everybody.
Call us for your wiring needs. So yeah, brand new home, anything. Yeah. So the business is thriving. I've, you know, since I started my business in 2007, and this is the best it's been doing.
Well, you know why? Because you're clear-headed, you care, and you wake up every day fresh,
Yes.
and you have a clean head,
Yes.
and you're ready to tackle the day. And you know that when your body starts showing signs, you know that you're going through something more or less emotionally or mentally. And I mean, people have had serious liver I mean, people's organs shut down from anxiety and stress and depression. They don't even know.
It's crazy because, you know, when I started experiencing, you know, my anxiety, my head was the first thing to start. You know, obviously my head, because the rolling blackouts, the shuddering, the nerve endings, you know, the tingling sensation. But then my stomach started to feel the effects also. I couldn't eat dairy without feeling like bloated or tense or like, you know, so they say your stomach is your second brain. So if you're not, I had to switch my diet up just to feel better.
I thought my butt was.
No, I had to switch my diet up for real just to feel like, you know, they said, like I said, your organs are very, very vital into your and into your stress.
So
and they know how to pick up on your energy and your mind. And I think
they're more aware than you are.
It's important to switch your diet up if you're really having hard mental like you know, health issues. I think just because the nutrients you need to be there. You know, your vitamins need to be there. You find supplements in these in better food quality than you would in junk food.
Absolutely.
And I think and that goes for, you know, without saying. I know it goes without saying, but especially if you're going through mental health issues or anxiety, maybe just try
really hitting it.
Maybe just try switching it up just for even a little while. Because as soon as I felt better, I started eating pizza again.
Oh, yeah, okay. Because you're happy. Yeah.
Because I'm happy. My mind felt better. I can actually eat cheese
when
again,
you are eating healthier foods, obviously it's feeding your body in a more natural way. But you're right. When you're happy, you feel like, yippee, I'm gonna have. I mean, like I eat garbage all night long. I'm bad. I'm really bad. But I've been where you are, and I know you've been where Rocky's been, and it's not a fun place to be, and it's hard to get out of.
Yeah.
But the fact that not only did you notice the stages of what was happening to you, you also really embraced the stages of what you had to go through to fix things.
Yeah.
You knew it wasn't a snap your fingers and wake up the next day and be like, okay, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Well, and I have a question for you too, because I think, you know, in my experience, I grew up in Chicago, and I feel like in the 80s, you know, in 90s as a teenager, but I feel like, you know, when I was growing up, you know, mental health was not a thing. Like we didn't go to therapy. We, you know, unless you were really, you know, in desperate need of it, like that's when you went to therapy. And men definitely didn't do it. And
they didn't
it was
even
like a
express
stigma,
themselves.
exactly, that it was something that was weak. And so what would you like to say to like the men out there who maybe think that therapy is something weak?
That's a great thing to ask.
I'd say you have to try it. I think if you feel like you need it, then do it, because nobody's gonna, like I said, nobody's gonna make you do it. It really has to be up to you. And it was the best thing I could have ever done, honestly, because it was the second step that I needed to get better.
Absolutely.
The first step was my sobriety.
Right.
And I'm not saying I'm 100% sober, because I'll go to a show and I'll have a couple beers, or I'll go out to dinner and have a cocktail, but I'm not at the bar every day. And that allowed my natural endorphins and my natural chemistry to readjust itself. The foundation is there again. And like I mentioned earlier, I haven't been this happy in a long time. And it took about 2 years to get where I'm at. So if you're going through it, allow yourself the time to get to the point where I feel that you need to be happy.
That's right.
And it does start with stop taking the numbingness that makes your body, you know, spike your endorphins as an immediate source, and allow your body to do it naturally. Because if you don't, then your body will not heal. You will not mentally restructure those nerves or those endorphins or that process where it makes your body happy or makes your mind happy, because you really need to give that stuff a break. I mean, I was discussing with my, you know, family members. We've been drinking since we were 13, 14 years old.
Wow.
We've been smoking weed since we were 13, 14 years old. And you know what? I started smoking weed maybe about 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I can remember, maybe longer, ever since my kids were kids. Just to kind of, you know, put it out the picture for them. But drinking was something that I did since I was 14 years old. And I stopped when I was around 38 for like a year, and then I picked it up again, and then I've been weaning myself off of it for the last 3 years, and really, I don't find myself at the bars anymore. So I think that was really important for me to like kind of like subside. But you know, cocktail for dinner, cool. I think I have it in control. Well, am I an alcoholic? Yes, I always will be an alcoholic. will I indulge like I used to? No, I don't think so, because I'm really happy with where I'm at now.
That's
I love that.
amazing.
Absolutely.
I think that was step one.
It also makes you spiral.
Therapy's huge, yeah, and
Well,
it does.
The
Yeah.
other thing that you keep saying that I absolutely love is that when you talk about therapy, like it's not just like talking to a therapist and getting advice. You're talking about doing work on yourself and kind of facing your demons, and like that's actually, it's work. It's not weak, because you're actually building yourself, and you're
strength.
actually, it is strength. You're finding your strength and your courage to face your demons.
One
and I
of-
think,
One of the things that was really resourceful while going to therapy were apps.
yeah,
Because these are not just, therapy is just like, one time a month type thing, which is good. You get to let it out. But your daily reminders of your positive affirmations is really important. You get up, you set this, there's an app called Insight Timer. And I think that's one that every day there's a positive affirmation. Read it. Okay. That's one step into getting better. Instagram has tons of positive apps. If you're scrolling through Instagram and you have, it's all about your algorithms, right? Pick the right things that you're liking, overindulge in the positive notes
love
that you're
that.
getting,
yes,
because you could go either way with social media. And the algorithms for your social media, you have to change them to what's going to benefit your future.
That's right.
And your algorithms, just like in life, just like we've been touching on everything so far about how your algorithms change your future. Social media is a huge, huge role on where your mind goes for the day. You wake up, you grab your phone, positive affirmation in the morning. Instagram has tons of pages that have tons of great messages. I read the messages, I'll read 2 or 3, I'll repost one, share it with everybody, be like, hey, you know what? It's all positivity. Feed your brain the positive message that you need for the day, for the week, for the month, for your life.
Yeah.
I think all these things will really set a tone to where you want to be. If you don't want the help, you're not going to get it.
yeah.
No, you're
And
not,
I think-
and you're also going to keep getting the
You're gonna-
messages for the
For the-
damage,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
the darkness,
Yeah,
or the
exactly.
bad
I mean-
stuff, because you're not working your mind to
Yeah.
live the right way.
Yeah, I like Instagram because it does feed the right algorithms for the things that you like. Where Facebook will just feed you nonsense sporadicness, and I'm old school. Those are the 2 apps I use. I don't really use anything
Right.
else besides that. But like I said, Instagram is a great app for positive affirmation. And there is, like I said, plenty of apps that are just like Insight Timer. They do live yoga tap-ins, or you could
love
just
that.
turn on your phone in the morning. Say everybody has a schedule for their yoga classes. You tap in. You're doing live yoga with hundreds of people across the nation.
Nice.
Another few apps are sober trackers. Those are another positive affirmations that you could get. Plus people that are experiencing what you're experiencing. Plus, live chats with people that are in need of to talk to somebody,
Yeah.
or just in between groups. I think people. Hey, this person has this many days sober. Congratulations. Things like that. That's positive.
love that.
You're moving the dial a little bit each day into where you want your positivity to be, or your life to become more beneficial for you and your
Yes.
lifestyle. We live in a beautiful place, and it's so it's so off balance, but it's so balanced in a way. It just depends. There's only 2 sides to really pick here. You either
True.
get out, you hike every day, or you go to the bar every day.
Yeah, it's
And,
a delicate
it
situation.
is. It's tough here. It's
It
tough
re-
here.
especially here in our
Especially here.
community, because we've really just had so many losses of lives that
Yeah.
have been based due to mental health
Yeah.
issues or
Yeah.
overdosing
Overdosing.
or
Yeah.
drinking to death. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there's just, and they're all tied in.
Yeah.
No matter what. And I mean, we've probably said this with almost every guest. You can come to this beautiful part of the world, but if you haven't done any work on yourself, you're just bringing all your stuff with you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where you live. If you do not take care of yourself and work on yourself, I'm a living proof that working on yourself works. But also, the one thing I want to tell everybody is don't wait. I mean, I waited. We're talking 30-something years before I decided to actually ever talk to a therapist. I thought I can just take care of myself. I'm so strong. I can. That's a lie that you tell yourself, because what you're doing is you're living this lie, and you're still doing all the things to yourself. You're
Pushing
still,
that down inside to
and
your
you're also
body.
manifesting. For me, I manifested a lot of self-loathing,
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
And then I manifested more anxiety than I knew what to do with. And when it got to be such a point where there was just no controlling my anger and my self-esteem and my self-loathing and my anxiety was so bad. I finally, at 50 years old, decided to go talk to somebody. Let me tell you something. When something's happened to you when you're a child or in a teenager or even in your 20s and 30s, do not wait 20, 30, 40 years.
We have more resources now than
Here.
ever
Oh,
before.
yeah, we're getting there.
Look at the building is all for mental health, the one that they're putting in Edwards.
That's right, and I just wish they would build quicker.
Yeah, no, for sure. I wish the resources were a little bit more
Attainable.
Earlier. I mean, but then again, you know what? The kids now need it more than ever.
Yeah.
You know,
100%.
Especially
with what we just went through the last few years with COVID and like being so
isolated,
secluded,
and then the loss of life. I mean, I know so many people that we're all mutual friends that we've lost so many people, and I mean, each time it's like, you know, how much more can we take?
I feel that I was up to the point where it's like, you know, this is physical pain that I can't take no more, and I can see why a lot of people say, well, the only option is for me not to be here no more, and
that's not true.
And it's not. It's one of those things that, you know what, you're here, and you're being put through this so you can break through that and become the new you. Because that's what I had to do. I had to push hard. You know, I had to push forward. Did I have the right, you know, things set in place for me to you know, make it through this? Yeah, I did. I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for my granddaughter, you know, for my wife.
And
for
now
my family,
anything that
my
comes your
friends,
way,
you know,
you can handle it
Yeah.
much more pragmatically.
It's the new me, and you know what? I'm okay with that.
I love that.
that.
See,
And it's so refreshing to hear a man say that. Like, this is the new me. Like, you working for that as a goal. Because
it's beautiful.
It is.
Really is. It's
Vulnerable
magnificent.
is beautiful.
vulnerable.
It is.
I think
Ignorance
it's
is not
tough.
bliss anymore.
It's tough. It's tough to, you know, to realize that or to come to that understanding. And I think, you know, when you fully embrace it, say, you know what, okay, you know, I went through what I went through, but it's okay. And I think a lot of the times, I think as men, you know, I would say this: pat yourself on the back, give yourself some credit, treat yourself to something.
That's right.
Worth it. That you're worth it. You know, treat yourself to something good because you are worth it. You know, and I think
vulnerable even, or you know what I mean? That is self-care. Like, it's okay to
really
you know,
is.
require self-care as a man and as a male.
It's so important, just as important for a female. I mean, I don't know where that line got drawn, where women are the emotional ones and we have all the problems. That's because we're the most vocal about it. That's what I think. But the truth is, you know what? Everybody is built differently. Everybody's brain is processing things differently, and some of the mental things that I go through, she was like, well, I can't even imagine what that's like. And then some things that you might go through, I wouldn't be able to imagine. So we're all on our own journey, but we are all in the same boat.
Well, like what you're saying, sharing
is huge. And do you know how many people are probably going, man, that's Rocky, if Rocky can talk about this.
That's the whole point.
Right? You know, I mean, seriously.
I probably wouldn't have been able to do this a year ago. I wouldn't have been able to do it 3 months ago.
I got to tell you, when I reached out to you, and I read this post and I thought it was lovely, and I reached out to him, he's going to be like, yeah, okay, Liz, let me get up there and talk about my feelings. You came right back and like, sure. I was like,
awesome.
I think it's important to have.
It is.
Because
it's so huge.
I love to be a backbone for my community. I love for people to rely on me, and I've always been that up until I got sick.
Yeah.
And then I stepped away. I stopped being the friend to my friends. I stopped being the.
Well, you can't be anything to anybody unless you're something to yourself
and
first.
that's what I had to do. I had to put the work in myself to become this person, just to let everybody know I'm still here for you guys if you guys need me. And everything that I've been through is just experience for, you know, and knowledge to teach people or to help people get through their phases.
Absolutely.
And I know it's tough to say, but like, you know, for me, I feel like I didn't have anybody. But I can't say that because I did have a little bit of everybody. Yeah. You know, and
your wife has been amazing.
Yeah. And I hope I could be that little bit for somebody that's the decipher saying, I don't want to wake up tomorrow or do I want to just go hang out with Rocky for a couple hours. You know?
But you know what? You know you will. I mean, just agreeing to come onto a forum where you're live and you're in front of tens of people. No, hopefully hundreds of people.
Yeah, it'll get there.
We're getting there. We're working really hard at this, and with Danielle and TVA, we're going to make it happen.
No, for
but
sure.
my
Just keep
point
it up.
is this: if you can come on live camera and talk about what you've been through and how you've managed to work through things, you know that you are a caring individual, and if somebody comes to you who's hurting, you're also gonna know more. You're gonna have better knowledge as to help them or guide them or who to send them to.
Yeah, this is just basically just, you know, sharpening the tool, you know.
Absolutely.
And I think it's just, like I said, 3 or 4 months ago, I wouldn't have been able to put it all in words.
Wow.
And I think the more you get used to it, the more you experience it, the more knowledge you become, and the more you're able to you know, to speak about it. The more, you know, and I think it's tough because, you know, we don't have knowledge on this. How many of us could, like I said, how many of us could sit here and do this? And I have been through that because it's a challenge that I was willing to accept.
Sure.
And storytelling is healing. It's magic. You
It
know?
really is. There's something, we did the storytelling, Valley Voices, and it's a thing where you tell a story and you get on a stage in front of a bunch of people. And mine was a little, you know, about my beginning of my life, and it wasn't bright. It was not sunshine and roses. And when I got up there, I was telling it with humor.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I could laugh at what went down with me as a little girl, you know.
Therapeutical.
Yeah.
Therapeutical? Is that a word?
I don't know, I just made it
I
up.
like it.
I like it. It's therapeutical. I love that. That's my new favorite. But the truth is, it's just so important whether you're a man, a woman, a trans, somebody that doesn't know where they are going yet with their gender. It's really, if you think about it, has absolutely nothing to do with gender. It has to do with your heart, your spirit, your mind, and your will. And if you have your heart, a spirit, a mind, and a will, it doesn't matter what you got down here. You know what I'm saying? Gender means nothing when it comes to mental health. The most important thing is your mental health. And the fact that it has been stigmatized more with men. It just has. Because men are supposed to be able to handle anything. You're supposed to run the house and be not worried. That is such crazy stuff at this point in life. We are all such open books. This is a great way to get things out. And don't you feel even a little better just talking about what you've been through?
I do, because like I said,
it's amazing.
It just serves as experience on what's to come next, you know.
Right, but you're gonna feel a little empowered after this. And if somebody comes to you and says, "Man, we saw you," you know, I could use someone to talk to. You're gonna jump on that opportunity.
No, for sure. And I think the whole point of me is so people understand there's somebody here for them, you know, and somebody that's been where they're at, and somebody that is just one of them, you know.
How long have you been part of this community?
Oh, since '96.
Wow, that's a really long time.
So I'm going on 30 years soon.
Wow, 30 years. That's a long time.
Another thing that kind of really helped me break the cycle between, you know, the mind and the body, these patches that I came across. They're called Calm Down by Vibrance. And you know how I was telling you guys I had this rough patch. It was for like 3 months solid straight where I was having this compression in my chest. And I was like, in my head, I was thinking, if there's something, you know, I was praying for something. There's just something that could just break the mental and this tension in my chest. When I get rid of this tension in the chest, I know I'll be able to restructure my mind and make it stronger.
Sure.
And these patches came along that my sister-in-law recommended them. They're called Calm Down by Vibrance, and they're all natural.
Yeah.
I can see me driving around with a Calm Down patch.
No, they're all natural. They're not. There's no marijuana in them. There's no THC. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
They're literally like, I don't know. You have to read.
Yeah, lavender.
No, like lavender obviously is a good remedy for calming down.
Yeah, for smelling.
But these patches, I put one on. I don't wear them religiously. You know, I put one on, and I probably wore one for the first month. Okay, but within the first 24 hours of putting one on, it released the tension in my chest.
Wow.
So it was the first relief that I really had body-wise.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, body-wise, it did the job. It broke the cycle. So I was actually able to have I had one good day, which was Christmas Day of 2022. I think that was the first day I fully had that.
It's amazing I had one good
day. Yeah, because it was like I had one good day, but the next 2 weeks were terrible.
Okay.
You know what I mean? And then I put, you know, and then the patches didn't come. I don't think the patches came into play until like another month after that. When the patches came into play, I'd go one day start feeling good. I was like, okay, they're working. 2 days in the morning, I feel a little, put one on, and it worked. They worked for 48 hours, and I don't know. It's all natural. I don't know what kind of, like, I don't know if it's like metals in there or like some kind of prayer over them or some, you know, I don't know. You have to read them. It's really,
There's heroin in them.
No, like I said, they're all natural.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's impressive.
They basically supposedly, align with the vibrations in your body.
You're probably right about the metals.
It's
then
kinda like
there
a
are
rocks or
magnets
stones, you know,
and metals.
yeah, exactly, yeah.
That does do some
And-
crazy
and-
stuff.
Repeat that one more time. What's it called?
Vibrance.
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 For
It
that.
sounds like
Calm
a
down
condom.
patches. They're called they're called calm down by vibrance. Yeah.
Condom by
I
vibrance.
know, right? Sorry. You got me. But no, they were the first relief that I had.
That's amazing. Though,
Obviously,
really.
therapy, all that stuff. I mean, I'm not trying to plug these guys because they don't know nothing for
No,
me.
no.
they just really helped, and
Yeah.
I feel like as soon as I got that break, I was able to start to work on my mind,
That's
and I think
so great.
it was weird. These patches, I mean, I've been recommending to people, and I've never heard anybody say, "Hey, dude, those things really work," which is weird. Is just for me? Is it just placebo effect?
That's what I
know.
was wondering.
Is it? I don't know.
I don't know. I have something like that. It's like a peppermint oil by Sage. It's like SAJE. But it tingles. It's called like peppermint halo.
Okay.
And like when you put it on, it smells like peppermint, but it also has this little tingle. But it also it calms
you?
me. It's like the scent, and then it's just
Like the vibrations, the harmony.
Yeah.
It's almost like I don't know if they prayed over them or if they you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's really weird to
The
me
prayer
because
patch.
it says all natural ingredients, which means, to me, it means either stone, metal, or magnets,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Vibrations
too.
would be the other
Right.
thing where maybe somebody meditates or prays over them, you know, which is, it's cool, like, to say, but I don't know. Obviously they're not going to give their secrets up because that's what's making them the millions of dollars in sales, right?
Yeah.
But it
works.
works for me, and
Yeah.
I think that's the most
amazing.
important part. It worked
And
for me.
it didn't come in a shot glass. And it
It
didn't,
didn't come in a
out of
shot
paper.
glass. It didn't come in a paper. I mean,
That's amazing, though.
Yeah,
I mean, for all natural remedies too.
Yeah.
Even if it is a placebo effect, it's still giving you.
it gave me
a lot
something.
More,
It gave me hope. It gave me.
Yeah.
It was that first breath of fresh air. Experiencing these anxiety attacks, you're not able to take a full deep breath.
No, I know.
I couldn't take a
Bad.
deep breath in months, and then a couple days into having this patch on, I took my first deep breath. I was like, oh my God, I'm on autopilot again. From manual breathing, I was able to autopilot breathe, and I was like, I don't recall the last time I didn't think about breathing.
Yeah.
Which is the weirdest
Breathing is
thing
the most
because-
important thing. We had somebody on here, okay, and she told us about these deep diaphragmatic. That's not the word either, but diaphragmatic breaths, where you breathe and your belly comes
Yeah.
up, and you hold it for 2 seconds, and you let it in, but mostly through your nose. And there's the alternative nostril breathing. If you find yourself in the throes of anxiety, hopefully you're not driving. Stop what you're doing, and put your hand on one side of your nose, and you breathe in really deep.
for 4 seconds. And
Then you hold it,
for
and
4
then you let it out
seconds.
the other side. Then you breathe in that side, then you hold this side and let it out. Not only within 4 deep breaths of that will you calm down, but you almost change your brainwave. Like
Yeah.
you almost feel a little dizzy, but you're not dizzy. You've changed the wiring. You can change that up.
And I think it is an important thing for me that I also do. I mean, there's this, is your thought patterns. When you
Well,
have a
sure.
thought
Negative, forget
negative,
it.
shift your thoughts, because we have so much garbage thoughts throughout the day that it's easy to get stuck in the routine of how many negative thoughts you have. And you have probably about anywhere up to like 10,000 negative thoughts a day, where you could actually have 2,000 positive thoughts a day. It's easy to get stuck in those negative thoughts all day long.
Yeah.
It's easy to get stuck in that just for me, like a lot of stuff that we talk about these days is like when I do get the urge to go drink, shift my thoughts. Do I want to go drink? Yeah, it's cool, but I got something else to do.
Okay.
I gotta go nail this stud to the wall, or go
Yeah.
pull this wire, or go put this outlet
Right.
in. Think more about
Or
work.
play
than
with your
it-
granddaughter in the
Yeah,
morning.
exactly. It's more of shifting your thoughts, and then when you get used to it, it just becomes natural. It's just going to the bar to drink. Nah, just the next
And
stop.
soon you'll
The
enjoy
next stop, the next stop, the
not
next
even
stop.
thinking about
Exactly.
which one should I pick.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly.
It'll just be natural for you to wake up, feel great, and
Re-
go wire someone's house.
Yeah, and it's the same thing. When you're having these thought shifts, you're rewiring your thought process. The quicker you can shift through your thoughts, the quicker you can get to the next point of where you want to be in your where you're headed.
It's so true, and the fact that you haven't just figured it out, you recognized it, and now you you live that truth.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it, but it's so endearing to me to hear, somebody that you think is this tough guy in the community. He's a Rocky, he was a DJ, now he wears, Why? Because you're a human being.
Yeah.
And that's why it's normal.
Yeah.
It's normal for all of us to have mental breakdowns, mental health issues, anxiety, depression, or depressive episodes, or anything. It's not okay for us to ignore it.
Yeah.
But it is normal. It's part of everyone's life. Somebody has something.
Yeah.
Okay? And I mean, I've been battling all kinds of stuff my entire life. And like I said, don't wait too long when you're going through something to figure out how to fix it.
Yeah.
Don't take the time. Don't think that you got this all by yourself, because sometimes you need a little help, and not through substances and things like that. So we're coming to a close already. This has gone so fast.
I know.
Yeah,
This has been a great
What is your
conversation.
biggest piece of advice to somebody that's struggling right now?
Figure out your routine. Practice practice something different. Like I said, positive affirmations are huge. I think that was one of my biggest things. The patches were really helpful. Therapy, seek therapy, sober up, even if it's just for a little while, to kind of like test your mind. Test
clear
your
your
mind. Do you
brain.
really need it? If you're gonna be foggy, mess, and hungover every day, maybe it's not the best answer. Maybe just give it a break. See what it
Think
does.
about why
If
you're
you
doing
feel,
it.
If you feel the change, then continue down the path. I feel everybody knows what they want. They just have to, follow through with it.
True.
Find a different routine, because when you find different routines, you're not asserting yourself into the same old stuff.
You're so right.
It's all about breaking the cycle, and stay aware of your feelings, because self-awareness is huge. You have to know what part of your life you're in and what experiences you're experiencing, in order to get to the next point. A lot of it just comes down to knowing yourself, know your body, allow yourself to heal.
Yeah.
Allow your body to produce what it's supposed to naturally.
Yeah.
Because that
Endorphins.
is stop robbing yourself from who you're really supposed to be.
Absolutely. I love
Yeah.
that. Absolutely.
Oh my God, that was like so beautifully put. I don't even know what to say. Rocky Sanchez, everybody, this has been probably one of my most favorite, because you really just showed your vulnerable side. You were truthful, you were honest, you were open, and you were just real. And thank you for that.
For sure. Yeah.
Thank
you guys for
so
having me.
much. And what's the name of your company one more time?
Boardwalk Electric.
Boardwalk Electric, everybody. If you want to get your house wired up, you
go.
know he's sober. He won't mess anything
Yeah,
up.
that's for sure.
Listen, if you're looking for a hand, if you're reaching out, if you are lost or scared or out of control, we are one avenue for you guys to always check into. But there is mental health help all throughout our community. And you also have 3 beautiful people right here that would love to just talk to anybody if anybody ever needs any help.
Absolutely.
And there are so many resources and all of that other great stuff. What was Chicken Man's number if anybody feels like you thought, oh, I might as well just... What was the number, 988?
988.
988.
986.
No, it was 2... Wow, okay,
We should
we're
have
going to
some
give out
notes
this
for that.
wonderful information.
We'll add it later on to
Reach
the...
out to Chicken Man for that number. But he's been through it too. But I can't thank you enough for coming
Thank you.
here and
Yeah, thanks for
being
having me.
your authentic self and
Appreciate
being
it.
super organic with us and
Yeah.
letting us know what it's like to get through something as a man. Because
Yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah, no, I
You
got
know?
you. I appreciate you guys
No,
having
you're
me. Yeah, for sure.
wonderful.
Thank you.
Rocky Sanchez, everybody. This is the Chat Box Live coming to you live from the TV8 studios. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're here every week with somebody very special to give you a helping hand. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend. Chat Box out.